What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to do a comparison of the Takara Tomy Transformers Masterpiece Hoist with the FansToys Hitch, their version of Hoist. So these came out a few years apart. This is from 2022. This is just came out in 2024. And they have some different approaches on Hoist. The Takara obviously going with the super duper cartoon accurate, whereas FansToys is going for a little bit more stylized cartoon look, but yet a little bit more of a mature look. As I always mention with these comparisons, they're trying to be as objective as possible. Of course, there's subjectivity involved when you're judging things like this. So if I choose one and you prefer the other, then you really win. I try to make these comparisons so people can decide what direction they want to go with their collection. But with that, let's get started. We'll start off with accessories. All right, here are the accessories they both come with. And obviously, Takara has a lot more, but let's go through them individually so you can see. They both have alternate hands, so if you want to remove the nozzle, you can just have two hands. They both have the alien mask from Hoist Goes to Hollywood. Obviously, slightly different styling, but you know that. They both have an alternate head here. Now, FansToys went with like the toy style head, which I think was pretty cool. I'm not sure what this is. It's just a different style mask, but we'll count those against each other. FansToys has another alternate head, which has the, gun or the scanner attached to the back of the head, whereas the one on him is actually not attached. And I'll count that off with this accessory here, which is an alternate, Toon style grill for the truck mode. And here's what you're left with. You got a lot more accessories here with Takara. You got the crane hook, which attaches in both vehicle and robot mode. You have the blast effect, which is actually pretty cool. This little tool that you used in that one episode. And then this wrench, which I actually really like. So we're going to give accessories over to Takara. Right, next we'll talk about the gimmicks on these two. And in robot mode, they both have basically the same gimmicks. They have the extending and swappable nozzles here. And same for these hands. So not really any difference there in robot mode. But in vehicle mode, they have some gimmicks. They both have opening doors. But the Takara has an opening hood with engine detail inside. And they have that swappable grill so you can get that Toon style look. So I'm going to give gimmicks over to Takara. Next, we'll take a look at the cartoon accuracy and sculpt. In order to do that, we'll put the G1 image here so you can take a look for yourself. And one thing that kind of stood out when this guy came out was they decided to use silver instead of a white. And down here, they actually chromed the legs. I actually really like the chrome. Now, it's up to your interpretation how you look at this cartoon image, whether that's white or silver. So I think it's okay either way. But when it comes to the cartoon sculpt, Takara definitely nailed the look. He doesn't have a waist, so this middle piece right here and the fact that these are down here are just not cartoon accurate. And then the way that it's kind of shaped down here, the shape of the legs, I think Takara nailed the shape a little bit better. As far as the head and the overall proportions up here, I prefer the look of the FansToys, but I think Takara got it close to the cartoon. So I'm going to give cartoon accuracy over to Takara. Not a surprise there. When it comes to sculpt, though, I've got to give it to FansToys. It is clean everywhere. You can see all sorts of holes and gaps on the Takara version. It actually is hollow all the way through, whereas this one is pretty much solid. Even on the back, you can see they hid away everything. Very, very clean. Even this, and that's not actually in the cartoon. So you look at that cartoon image. It does have a green back instead of having this. So sculpt-wise, I am going to give it to FansToys. Next, we'll talk about the paint on these two. When it comes to the Takara version, you do have paint on the visor, but the head is unpainted. The shoulders and arms are unpainted. There's a little bit of a fleck in the plastic, but the surface is unpainted. The chest here is painted in this nice green. The thighs are unpainted orange plastic. The legs here and here are unpainted, same color as this. This orange here is painted, and then there's white paint here on the front of the shins and the feet. Coming over to the FansToys, pretty much 100% painted. But the only thing that I think is maybe just have a finish. Actually, I can't really tell. I think this actually has a finish. So I think maybe the only thing that maybe isn't painted is this orange piece right here. Other than that, 100% painted. So we're going to paint over to FansToys. All right, next we'll talk about the build quality on these two. And this is an interesting one because the difference in weight is really significant. And I don't think that build quality is necessarily always tied to weight. But since people are going to ask me, I might as well take a weight anyways. The FansToys comes in at 1 pound, almost exactly 1 pound, or 458 grams. The Takara comes in at 6 ounces, or 184 grams. So the FansToys is nearly more than double, maybe closer to 2.5 times the weight of Takara, and that really shows because of the hardware, the thickness of the plastic that they use, the die cast in there. It really just feels that way. When you're messing with this, it feels like a retail figure, something you'd buy from Target or Walmart. That's just because it's, it's so thin. Now, it does a lot, but because of that, I'm going to give build quality to FansToys. It just feels like a more solid thing that's going to last longer. All right, next we'll take a look at the articulation. In order to do that, we'll articulate each one individually. For Takara, the head is on a ball joint, so you get side to side, forward and backward, and it rotates around on that ball joint. Shoulders rotate around on this joint. There is a hinge that gets you up to there. There's a little bit of collision here as you're going, but to be expected with this character. You can kind of cheat and rotate this joint this way, and then you get a butterfly, but then it prevents you from tilting up, so it's kind of pointless. I'm not going to count that as a butterfly. I just wanted to mention you can fake a butterfly if you want to. You have a rotation here at the bicep. It's a single jointed elbow, but if you combine it with the shoulder joint, you get a double jointed elbow. So I'm going to give that to them as a double jointed elbow. Coming to the hands, you have a rotation, in and out movement. The fingers are on pins, so you get 2 points articulation, and the thumb is on a single pin, just goes up and down. No waist rotation or ab crunch just due to the design. He doesn't have a waist, he just goes straight to legs. The legs can go back to there. Forward uses this joint and goes up to there. Out to the side on this joint, so it goes down to there. You have rotation at the thigh at this joint here. You have a single jointed knee, it gets you well past 90 degrees, but if you combine it with the ankle tilt, you get it up to there. For the ankles, you have forward and backward tilt on a ratchet, and then you can tilt the ankles out about that much. Coming at FansToys, the head is also on ball joint, so you get side to side, forward and backward, and it rotates all the way around. Shoulders on a ratcheted joint go forward and backwards. It does go upwards. You have to watch out for collision with this rear view mirror, but you can get it up to there. So same joint as that one. You have a rotation here at the elbow, or at the bicep. Single jointed elbow gets you a little past 90 degrees. It's not double jointed, so that guy has a little bit more there for the joint on the elbow. Hands, your rotation in and out and all the way around on a ball joint. Fingers are individually articulated at 2 joints, and then the thumb is on a ball joint and a pin. So this thumb is actually a little bit more articulated than that one. Coming down the waist, you have a waist rotation all the way around. You have drop down hips, so if you want, you can get them down a little bit more, and then you can get the legs up to there. Goes back to there, a little bit hindered by the way, but you can actually pull this down on this joint as far as it'll go, and you can get a little bit more back out of that. Out to the side on friction. Rotation at the thigh at this joint, nicely hidden. Single jointed knee gets you 90 degrees. You have ankle tilt forward and backward. It's pretty slight, but it is there. And you have tilt side to side. So because the FansToys has the extra swivel at the waist, but the Takara has the double jointed elbow, I'm going to give them a tie on articulation. It's pretty darn close. Right now, let's talk about the transformation and engineering. So I did transform both of these for this review. And looking at the Takara, it's relatively simple, but there's a lot of parts where there's collisions, specifically with the head passing through that gap there and trying to get it all lined up. And then the shoulders, trying to get that all configured in the right direction. There's a lot of like very tight tolerances and collisions as you're doing that. Once you get it here, it's fine, but there's a little bit of that when you're getting it out of vehicle mode. For the FansToys, this is one of the easiest transformations we've gotten from FansToys. It was a pleasant surprise when we got this and we're like, oh wow, it's just fold the legs out, fold the arms out, and kind of put it together. It really comes together nicely. I'm going to give transformation over to FansToys just by a hair because of the simplicity of the way they did the arms and the head. The other part is this backpack here. I think FansToys really did a good job engineering. The cleanliness of this is really spot on. I also like the way the arm pieces, right, these door pieces, actually tab in to the back. And you can still articulate the arms and move it if you need to. And same for these. I like that these have a locking point, whereas these don't. They sometimes just get out of skew and you have to fix them. So little details like that give me, the engineering behind FansToys just give me a little bit more, extra effort there. So I'm going to give engineering to FansToys as well. All right, and there they are in their alt modes. And although they have similar decos, they're definitely different approaches. FansToys, they actually went for a clear or translucent glass here to make it look like it's got the cutout, whereas the Takara actually has the cutout. Now, I don't think this looks so great, but it is accurate, and we'll put the image there so you can take a look. Coming to the front, they both have that shiny chrome grille with translucent lights. FansToys went for a little extra detail, put those orange markers, which I actually really like, but is not accurate to the cartoon, of course. You got chrome wheels on FansToys where you have silver on the Takara. The color on the back here is a little bit darker on the FansToys. They went for more of a lighter orangish yellow on the Takara. Takara got the benefit of being officially licensed by Toyota, so it says Toyota on the back. This one just doesn't say anything, but it has that same stripe. They both have tail lights. This one has got orange and red tail lights, which I think looks really nice because it's translucent, whereas this one is just painted. So both really good vehicles. But when it comes to the Toyota Hilux, I think the Takara nails the look of that vehicle. And they also have the look of the cartoon. And if you want to make it more cartoon, you can by adding this grille. So I'm going to give alt mode over to Takara. I think they really just nailed both looks, both the vehicle, actual vehicle, and the cartoon. Next, we'll talk about the costs on these two. And as always, I use the ages 3 and up prices since they don't seem to monkey with them. The FansToys came in at a retail price back in the day of $190. The Takara comes in at a retail price of, it looks like $168 on their website. I know it was $160 everywhere else, but either way, FansToys is more expensive, so Takara is going to win on cost. And the final factor here is the members' choice category, where I ask my members which one they prefer just based on their own personal preference and no other categories. And you can see FansToys is going to win the members' choice category. So final thoughts on the comparison. You can see the score there, and FansToys is going to take this one by 1 point, very close. And I actually like both of them for different reasons, but if you're the kind of person that really likes cartoon accuracy at no matter the cost and kind of even with some sacrifices, I think you'll like this Takara version. They really nailed the look in both the robot and vehicle mode, and it has some really nice accessories. This wrench especially just really cool, and some of the other stuff they gave you, it really gives you a lot. If you prefer more heroic proportions, a little bit more of a mature look, and better materials, then I think you prefer the FansToys. So obviously 2 different ways to go. I'm probably going to keep both of these. I like FansToys for the robot mode, and I'm probably going to put the Takara in the vehicle mode, just like I did for the Trailbreaker. Same thing. I like to have both the vehicle modes available for display. Hopefully I helped you decide what direction you want to go with your collection. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.